come closer, come closer. What a story we have for you now. 9:25. Vassos, over to you.
Our next guest comes under the banner of ridiculously multi-talented. She's a Euros-winning England football captain, Arsenal legend, qualified accountant, and best-selling kids author. Her latest book, The Wonder Team and the Rainforest Rescue, is out tomorrow. So let's give her a cheer because she's here and she's Leah Williamson.
Good morning, Leah.
Good morning. Good morning.
Look, we can see her. Physically, she's here, but how actually here is she? A little bit of jet lag going on?
A tiny little bit of jet lag. I think it's about 4 a.m. where I was yesterday.
Washington?
So yeah, Washington DC. It was a good trip, but I'm happy to be back in London.
Good trip, great trip. Was it a 12-day tour?
Yeah, 12-day tour, 2 games. Football. When football's back on, it just consumes you. So yeah.
So this time last week, we were just fresh back from Los Angeles, and there was a massive football thing. You know, I think Arsenal went out to play there, Liverpool went out to play there, Tottenham went out to play there. So beyond sold out.
Yeah.
Same thing?
Yeah, not quite sold out, but the crowds there and the appetite for women's soccer there is really growing. But Arsenal have a massive fan base across America, so it was really nice. Yeah.
So where did you play? What did you do in between? Give us all the juice.
The Audi Field is where we played. We played Washington Spirit, and then we played Chelsea in a derby across the pond. So that was weird. And then just sort of Washington's a very cool city and so much to see and learn. So yeah, it was cool. We went to some monuments. A lot of the girls went to museums, stuff like that. Very wholesome, actually.
Yeah, good. That's good. You look really well, to be honest.
The weather was kind.
But your eyes are bright, and you don't look like you've been on some kind of 12-week jolly. You look like you've...
No. We worked hard, but we had a nice time together and some downtime as well.
Is it officially pre-season, that kind of stuff, or is it more exhibition?
A bit of both, yeah. I think it's how the world's changing, but mostly focused on football, and then everything else just ties around it.
And loads of PR going on as well?
Yeah. That's also the change in the game.
Give us some of that colour.
It's funny because PR these days we have very different PR, I think, to the men's game. Like, we're growing and it's more community based. So we had a lot of, I think some of the girls did some stuff with puppies, rescue puppies and stuff like that, which was a great PR day. But for me, more talking about the new season and...
Because the Arsenal-Liverpool game, the men's game in LA...
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't leave anything on the pitch. They really went for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very surprised. And what's great about when they play in LA is that regardless of the score, they always have penalties afterwards. You know about this?
Yeah, that was the same for us as well. And if we'd have drew, we'd have had penalties, just as a bit of a spectacle, I believe.
Yeah.
No, it's hard. It's you go out there to basically kill yourself and then come back and settle down before the new season.
All right, and you have more than settled down for the new season. I thought it said here you'd resigned from Arsenal, but it's re-signed. Thank God for that. Otherwise, this would be some kind of interview, wouldn't it?
It really would. Well, because I can't imagine you playing for anyone else, to be honest.
Yeah. It kind of, I wear the shirt wears me. But I've been there for so long, so yeah, it's nice to stay at home.
Yeah, but still so tender in years.
Yeah. I mean...
Plenty of time left.
I hope so. I hope so. That's the plan.
How long is this new contract for?
A couple of years.
Yeah.
So just to... I feel like I should be hitting my prime soon, I hear, and I'm optimistic that's the case.
For people who don't know, how old are you, and what do you mean when you say that we're hitting the prime?
Yeah, so 27, and because I'm a defender, central defender. They say that sort of it's more experience and
knowing where to be and how to be, and
that kind of stuff refines as you get older.
Yoda's sixth sense.
I hope so.
But it's funny, isn't it? Because the longer you are in a position like that, the more comfortable you are. The more comfortable you are, the more extra capacity you have. The more extra capacity you have, the more you relax. The more your peripheral vision widens to a panorama, and you can literally see more.
Yeah, basically, you learn how to. It's kind of turns into feelings as well. Like just a more. And that position is basically getting other people to do your job as well. So you learn how to do that.
And for the opposite, I see Gary Lineker at the other end of the pitch, because he did the same thing. It's similar, isn't it? If you get a classic old-fashioned centre forward, they just sort of can recognise the pattern of play and they know where the ball is going to be more often than not.
Yeah, they just know. It's a feeling. And I'm meant to sniff that out. So, yeah, on the other end of the...
Do you feel like it's getting your sort of sense of smell, as far as that's concerned, is getting even more accurate?
I think so, year upon year. Like, it gets easier to come back into football.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like, pre-season, you switch off, you come back, you don't really know how you're going to feel. And then I was quite happy this week to know that my brain, whilst my body's still getting up to scratch,
Yeah.
my head was in the right place.
Right. I'm 58. Right.
Yeah.
I have trouble with my hips and my piriformis. And I've started to do what do you call that when you do that? What's that called?
Like stretching, I suppose.
Yeah, but it's just like
mobility.
knees to the side. And
Yeah.
I've seen footballers do that for years. And also this one.
Yeah.
I can't describe it on the radio, but where you look like you're auditioning for Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah.
And I've started to do it now. It's so useful, isn't it? Opening the hips up.
Opening the hips up is crazy good for you. The first thing that gets tight when you come back for pre-season as well. So a lot of that going on.
And the
this
bum
week.
as well, the glutes.
Yeah. Honestly, everything. As you get older, that's the only thing. I'm 27. I know that doesn't sound
It really
crazy
doesn't.
old, but
You're in the wrong room for that conversation, Leah.
I'm starting to notice differences. Let's say.
All right, well, let's make you feel old.
Right.
Let's introduce you to Izzy, who works on our show, who is playing in the FA Cup on Sunday. Izzy, Leah, Izzy.
It's a pleasure, Leah. I've got to say, every day working here is a highlight, but I think this is the most excited I've been in my entire life. I don't want to understate it. But this is a very
And
proud.
I appreciate it.
So everybody knows the dynamic here. How old are you now, Iz?
I'm 21 and a half, which is a very young thing to say, isn't it? And a half.
Yeah, and a half.
What
yeah.
age do you get to before you drop the and a half?
I think 22.
I'll make the most of it.
It's coming your way. Right, what would
Yeah.
you like to ask her?
Okay, my first question to you is, you came up through the ranks of a Centre of Excellence, which for those that don't know is like the equivalent of a men's academy. I did the same process and found it quite psychologically draining. What advice would you give to young girls that are sort of coming through that level or playing at any level that are sort of getting a bit of self-doubt and sort of feeling a bit of a lack of love for the game?
So I had the same thing, got to about 15 and just, you kind of feel like you've already had your career, you've been in it so long. And then I don't know how else to give sort of reassurance that you just kind of, if you push through that bit and you step into the world of like senior football and it's like your eyes are opened again for the first time.
Has there been a point in your playing career that you've enjoyed the most?
I think like 2018, 19, I think I was like 23, 24. And you've got to think that's like 10 years on from me doubting myself at 15, like, am I going to continue playing? And I just loved it. You get to a point where you're fully grown, I don't know, everything just kind of starts falling into place. But I'm starting to really love it again now, off the back of a couple of injuries. I think that's probably why.
Yeah, it's like a roller coaster, isn't it? You're up and down.
So much
constantly.
happens in your career, then things will happen. You know, you'll have your dips, and then off the back of that, you get sort of a reignited love for the game every time.
And I found that for us, it's like you have certain rituals that either put you in a good place or put you in a bad place before a game. Which brings me to my second question. A massive part is the playlist in the changing room, right?
Yes.
So, if you had to make a supergroup, 4 artists that would travel with you live and play whatever playlist songs you wanted, who would those 4 artists be?
That's an unbelievable question, by the way. Fred again.
Nice.
I'm going to go off like current
Course.
right now. Fred again. Then I would have the girls we love like old school classics. Like, this sounds silly in the changing room, but like Avril Lavigne at the minute is the girls have really, a couple of the foreign girls have just discovered her. So they're
Nice.
really kicking on with that. I'd have a dance, like a real dance act in there. This is so hard. I don't know, a dance act, you know, like a old
to bring
school
the
disco.
energy.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, like the Spice Girls or something, just for a little bit of
Good
team
answer.
cohesion.
Who
and-
has jurisdiction over like your changing room playlist?
It's me, actually.
Are you in charge of that?
I am. Yeah. Well, yeah.
To a certain extent.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it gets dished out, but yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe for next season we can build on that. Get
Yeah.
the Spice
all
Girls
right.
across.
All right.
The last thing I want to ask you is, obviously, as part of the Lionesses, you've had a monumental impact on the game. For girls and boys alike, I think it's really inspirational to see. In 10 years, what do you want your personal legacy to be?
I got asked the other day what my like ultimate sort of dream was, and I think to know that I've done enough for the game that I can sort of step away, and I've given so much of my life to football that there'll be a point where I can sort of step away and live life solely for me. But I think my legacy, I want people to know that every boardroom I could be in, every conversation I could be in to progress the game and get us what we need to move forward sustainably. And, you know, I'd like to be known as a fairly good footballer.
I mean, I don't think that's in doubt.
I'm still working on that.
Reputation
I'm
is
still working
incredible,
on that.
both on and off the pitch. I think, you're an incredible player, you're an incredible person. I could sit here and compliment you all day, but I don't think that's what I'm here for. So.
So AFC Crew are playing on Sunday.
Yes,
Who are you
that's
playing
right.
against?
Ashton Town Lionesses. So they're in an equivalent league to us, sort of a bit more north.
Right.
So you're in the dressing room. And they want you to come, and by the way, this could happen. What are you saying to AFC Crew, and in fact to any team? But because Izzy's here, imagine it's Crew.
In the FA Cup, I'd say is the heritage of sort of English football, and it is an honour to be able to play in it. So don't waste a second. Just do your job, focus on yourself, and if everybody does that and brings their best to the table, you'll be all right.
Okay, and obviously a knockout match as opposed to a league match. Do you go for it? How does it differ? What's the mindset?
Sometimes it can be a bit, tentative at the start because everybody's
can go either way again.
Making sure they're not going to sort of knock themselves out. But I think the best 15 minutes of football is a knockout game, last 15.
Because they say you can't win a match in the first 15 minutes, but you can lose a match in the first 15 minutes.
Exactly. So I think that's useful.
And Izzy's the goalie. And the
no
captain.
pressure.
There you go. If we have an unreal run and end up being drawn against Arsenal in the final, is this advice still applicable, or are we sort of drawing lines?
Well, that's what I'll be doing. I'll be enjoying every single second. You don't have to worry about
With
that.
the game face on.
Yeah.
How is your game face? Are you a toughie?
I'm notorious for not smiling when I'm on a football pitch.
Right.
So I'd say, but inside I'm having a great time.
Of course you are.
A great time. But yeah, I don't give much away.
Right. Got it. Perfect. All right, we're going to play a tune. Round of applause for Izzy there. That was great. Lovely conversation. Okay, now Leah also has a book out with some lady called Jordan, who is behind the glass. She's very welcome to join us. Leah Wilson, The Wonder Team and the Rainforest Rescue, the third in a brilliant kids trilogy. Very big in the Arsenal ladies' dressing room because of the Dutch contingent. Few staff complaints coming in. What happened there?
She was very upset that I hadn't introduced her
Who's this?
to Victoria Palova. She'll be delighted I've just given her a shout out. But she, very upset that I hadn't introduced her sooner.
All right, we're talking to Leah Williamson about loads of things to do with football. She's just resigned from Arsenal. Oh, no, sorry. She's just re-signed for Arsenal. Thank God. She's here with her cousin, Jordan. Good morning, Jordan.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Thanks for being here. Leah Williamson, written with Jordan Glover, The Wonder Team and the Rainforest Rescue. And this is book number 3. There is a fourth. Let's focus on this one first of all. Who gets up to what in this one? Jordan and Leah together, whatever you like.
Do you want to lead?
Yes, I can do. So in this instalment, Leah and her friends Mimi and George find themselves transported back in time to the Tanzanian rainforest in the late 1960s, where they make friends with a researcher who is trying to conserve the chimpanzees in the rainforest, but there is a threat of poachers lurking on the horizon, so they run into a few problems.
So why why not? But why particularly the 60s?
We wanted to focus on the 60s because with these books, our aim is to highlight fantastic women throughout history who've done brilliant things.
Brilliant.
Stories that you might not have heard of or should be
exactly. So with this one, we were focusing very much on the kind of work that Jane Goodall's done and the Black Mambas anti-poaching group, and we combined that all together in this story, and we wanted to spotlight what they were doing, and Jane Goodall was working in the 60s, so it made sense for us to start there.
Perfect. And nothing wrong with a bit of 60s nostalgia,
Absolutely.
60s style.
Yeah.
See, the minute you say that, so I'm watching the George Lopez documentary about surfing at the moment. So late 60s, early 70s, George Lopez, the yin and yang of George Lopez. So he remains a yoga master and the most famous surfer in the world at the time. And then you watch, there's this biopic of him. It's amazing. It's on YouTube, and you just get overwhelmed with all the 60s graphics and things like that. This book is screaming out to be bought up for silver screen, small screen, whatever. Any plans for that happening?
I think we'd love it if it did happen, wouldn't we? There's been various conversations about it, but we'll just have to see. Watch this space, see what happens. But we'd love it.
You're in the 60s, Leah?
Listen, when it comes to music, 60s is my era. Yeah. So
have you seen that app? The footballing app that you can download to your phone, where you can turn yourself into any period of football. Have you seen?
Yeah, mine aren't pretty.
No. Well, I don't think they're supposed to be, are they? You can go 70s, 60s, can't you? You can go European, Champions League, circa 77. Big hair, small hair. I love it, don't you?
Total football. I had the moustache, I had the big hair. It was great.
Okay. Best retro footballing sort of vibe, do you think? Johan Cruyff, I love all that stuff.
I'd say 70s, like 70s, all the players then.
I think so, don't you?
Yeah.
When the shirts changed material, when they went from cotton to whatever they are now, which I didn't like at the time. I get it, I suppose, because they're lighter, aren't they?
Performance, yeah.
Yeah, of course they are. Right, so Leah, how does it work? So Leah Williamson and Jordan both together with us now, the Wonder Team and the Rainforest Rescue. How well did the books do?
Yeah, well, I think amongst, obviously, the the main characters are, well, she's called Leah and she's a footballer, so obviously it attracts
Based
that.
on who?
I have no idea. No one worthy of talking about. But I think that attracts that crowd of young footballers, especially girls. But the response we've had from just kids, we've tried to make the books as inclusive as possible, as diverse as possible, just to reach as many kids as possible.
Good for you.
So,
and is there a community behind the books now, do you think, with the readers?
Oh, massively. We get so many lovely messages about people who've read them and they've had an impact on their lives. And we did a signing for the first book, and we kind of had whole football teams that turned up in their shirts, and it was so lovely to see.
See, I'm smelling a Carfest guest for next year
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
these two.
Come on.
We have this massive festival for kids. We just had it now. It was a family festival, 90,000 people over the weekend. We have loads of author stages and star stages. We'd love you to come next year. And Jordan as well. Bring the books. And we sell loads and loads of books, and everybody that brought books with them, and hundreds and hundreds, some thousands. They all sell out. All the signings afterwards. The chat's like 45 minutes, and signings like 3 hours. You know the scope. We'd love you to come.
Oh, we'd love to.
Be great.
That'd be great.
And there's a fourth book on the way.
There is indeed.
Now, I presume, once again, presumption is the mother of all you-know-whats, but I presume you were the kid at school that always handed their homework in first or second or third.
She plays that role.
Who we pretended to dislike, but actually was just extraordinarily jealous of, because you've already almost finished the fourth book and the third one's just out now.
Yeah, we're just sort of in the editing stage of the fourth one now. Writing books is a really funny thing, isn't it? Because it doesn't always take that long to write the book, but actually getting it in your hand, like you've got it now, it takes a lot longer. So you have to plan. It's sort of very rigorously planned, the schedule of how everything fits together. So we work to tight deadlines.
If it was just me on my own, you wouldn't have any. There'd be nothing for you to hold.
No,
It wouldn't be finished.
Washington a bit more, wouldn't we? And whether it should be 2 years or 3 years for the re-signing at Arsenal. Lexi says, I'm a very big Arsenal and Lionesses fan, and I was wondering, as you've written children's books, would you write an autobiography? And if so, what do you think the craziest story in there might be about? But you're only 27.
Well, I'm hoping that my life still has that crazy story yet to be sort of revealed to me. So at the minute, I don't have enough to talk about to do an autobiography.
Oh God!
Come on.
Do you remember when Wayne Rooney signed that 5-book deal? It was a 5-book biography deal.
Age 23 or
Something
24,
like that. Your story's amazing.
Yeah.
We did amazing things as a team, but I don't know.
As a human being, what a time for women's football. It's been pretty exciting for the last 20, 30 years anyway. But right now,
to be involved in this generation, to be able to live it every day, I'm very, very lucky.
How exponential? I mean, it's pretty exponential. The sort of increase in popularity of the women's game off the back of various things that have just caught light, and the stars have aligned. You can't, there's no accident that the tournaments have been so as exciting as they have been. That's all. It's like a master gardener, really only seeing the fruits of his labour or her labour like 30 years on, if within their own lifetime.
Yeah.
And so we all have to be thankful for everybody who's sort of ploughed the ground beforehand. You're part of that as well. But in 5 years' time, where do you think the game's going to be? Well, first of all, where do you hope it's going to be? Where do you genuinely think it's going to be?
To think about is almost, if you'd have told me we were where we are now,
right,
2 years ago, I wouldn't have believed you. So
how do you quantify where you are now? What does that mean?
The possibility to sell out stadiums. Arsenal play 11 games at the Emirates next season, which is just crazy. That to me, I didn't think I'd see that in my career.
Wow.
And I'm only 27, so that's incredible. But where I hope it'll be is that right now you have a WSL and you have the Championship, and then the leagues below it are, not so well supported. It's, the travel, the facilities, everything
machinery
available to them
Yeah.
is not where it should be. If you consider the men's football, you have 6 tiers which will function perfectly and feed to that top level. So I hope that in 5 years you have we'll have 3 or 4 really, really strong
What do you
leagues.
think's gonna happen?
I think that's possible,
Yeah.
and I think it could be beyond. I don't see it being less than that in my.
Yeah. Well, the
my
men's
opinion.
game is getting crazier and crazier, isn't it? From money and the global stage and where it's going.
Yeah.
The whole American thing is really interesting, isn't it? It seems to be It doesn't seem like we're that far away from a global something, more permanent global something. What do you think, Vassos?
Well, I was in Las Vegas on a couple of weeks ago, and so some people go and see a show, some people gamble. My son and I went to see the Las Vegas Lights football team on a Saturday night, and you think, well, really, because they're in the second tier of American soccer, how well attended is it going to be? Well, A, it was nearly a sellout, and B, it being Las Vegas, they ended a 1-1 draw with a massive fireworks display.
Which here would have people leaving before the end of the game.
Nothing wrong with that. Great. Anything else while you're here?
No, thanks for having us on. I'm
You're
excited
welcome.
for everybody to get the book in their hands.
By the way, I wish I could look half as good as you do jet lagged. You look like you've just been made.
Thank you.
You look so shiny and new.
What you don't know is I actually haven't done it. I went to bed like this and I just woke up the next day. I had to prepare.
I don't need to know. Leah, thanks so much for being here. Jordan, thanks as well for being part of this. It's been brilliant. Thanks to Izzy. Great little interview there. Leah Williamson, the Wonder Team, and the Rainforest Rescue out tomorrow.
Virgin Radio.